les gars, c'est reparti, petit gameplay, Blue on Bullet pour la suite. Allez. Voilà, on peut là, voilà. Plutôt pas mal celui-là de jouer, ça change un peu. Voilà.
We'll be going up in a couple of minutes. I'll wait for you in the cable car.
Up where?
Oh, le tatouage.
Hindenburg. Her forced landing in New Jersey almost cost the lives of over 100 passengers. Yeah, nearly a fireball in midair. It would have burned down half the city.
Alors c'est quoi ce link? Pas aller là.
A. Ryan, owner of Ryan Hotels, the visionary who transformed the Hindenburg into the monument to aeronautical luxury it is today.
Ouais.
Okay, let's go. Scared of heights?
Since I was a kid, I like to keep my feet on the ground.
That makes two of us. If you need a paper bag, I have one.
How high does this thing go?
Higher than the clouds.
Ouais. Ça c'était des grosses merdes ce truc. faire grand chose.
I'm afraid I can't come with you. Thanks for the pie.
But
Welcome to the Grand Hindenburg Hotel. My name is Susan, and I'm glad to be of service. Your name, please?
Ouais.
Ness. Elliot Ness.
Thank you, Mr. Ness. Nice choice. Sounds genuine. And now, how can I help you?
I'm here to see Mr. Capone.
There's no Mr. Capone here, Mr. Ness.
Listen, Susan. I know more than 60 aliases for Al Capone, so you have two options. One is to delay my appointment with him until I guess the right one, which he is not going to like. The other is to send me through and earn my eternal gratitude and his. Your call.
He's in the presidential suite. Top floor at the end of the red carpet.
Thank you, Susan.
Have a pleasant stay at the Grand Hindenburg Hotel, Mr. Ness. Your attention, please. The cable car to Santa Esperanza leaves in 3 minutes.
Je peux aller là-bas, là. Non, je sais pas. Porter.
Your attention, please. The cable car to Santa Esperanza leaves in 2 minutes.
Romance on the brink of the abyss. Nothing new.
D'accord. Wow.
Bravo.
Voilà. Voilà.
I'm sorry.
Ouais, pas l'air bien.
If it wasn't for my habit of checking all possible exits when I walk into the lion's den, I'd be a dead man. You should be rotting in jail.
That's exactly what I've been doing for the last 19 and a half years. You'll be surprised what a little good behavior can do for a person. You're not gonna ask me for my last words this time? I'm a lot closer to death than when I last saw you. As are you.
Why did you ask me here?
Why did you come?
I wanted to see if you'd improved with age. I'm glad to see the answer's no.
When you said rot in jail, you really meant it, huh? Look, I didn't ask you here to find out who's got the snappiest comebacks. I want to hire you.
What?
Non, et lui, non.
I require your services as a detective.
What's your game? Who do you take me for?
Look, Ness. My granddaughter Sophia has been kidnapped. When what happened to my son, Vittorio, I put her in a boarding school. She was entered under a false surname, Colombo. Nobody knows who she is.
Nobody?
Only Milton, the man who brought you here. I trust him completely. 2 days ago, a guy turned up at the boarding school. He introduced himself as Guido Colombo, the girl's uncle, and her new legal guardian. He said her parents had just died in a tragic automobile accident. He produced all the relevant papers, driver's license, the custody document supposedly made out by the father, the death certificates. Explained away the fact that the girl didn't know him, and he moved to Seattle before she was born.
Any clues?
Nah. Well, Sophia was wearing a blue dress with flowers that I personally ordered for her from Italy. She was also wearing white ballet shoes with daisies embroidered on them. As for the guy, the school principal said he was tall and slim, in his 50s. No particular accent. Black hair, no beard, glasses. Well dressed. Could be anyone. But I know he was hired by one of my old associates. Someone wants to finish me once and for all. Maybe they want control of what's left of my organization. Maybe they hate my guts.
And I thought I was the only one who still hated you after 20 years. What else have you got?
I got this. And I got you.
You don't have me. My place is at my diner,
Ouais, ce que j'allais dire.
and your girl's not there.
Huh. So where should I be looking?
I'm not a cop anymore. Call the station.
The station? Are you serious? The cops are rotten to the core. I should know. I helped make them that way.
So why me?
20 years ago, I pushed you to the edge. And killed the ones who couldn't be bought. I got you so obsessed with me that your wife ended up leaving you. When Nothing left? You walked into my house, shot my bodyguards, and pointed a gun at me. You could have killed me.
Ouais, ça c'est
But you
sûr.
chose to take it out on this piano. You're the only honest man I know.
I'll do it. Not for you.
Knew I got the right guy.
But I want something in return.
As you can see, I'm not short of money. Ask. I won't haggle.
You leave Santa and the country forever.
It's a deal. I always wanted to die in Sicily, but that's the least of my worries. I don't give a damn what happens to me, Ness. You just save Sophia. And you can start by investigating
Carlo Boccarini.
How did you know?
Biggest forger in Santa Esperanza. Wouldn't surprise me if Sophia's so-called uncle's papers were made by him. Besides, he's been cursing your name ever since we put you in jail.
Hey, I treated him like a son.
After you killed his...
They were selling booze without my permission. Wait, you know where to find them?
I have a good contact at the station. A girl. Rookie. Arrow. Reliable.
A girl? You saying you trust her?
Such a chauvinist. Do you trust me?
Deal?
T'as pas le choix. Hein. What? Mais c'est sérieux, mais sans déconner, quoi. Lui on démate le jeu quoi, mais c'est une blague. Hein. Putain. C'est pas vrai.
You should be rotting in jail.
That's exactly what I've been doing for the last 19 and a half years. You'll be surprised what a little good behavior can do for a person. You're not gonna ask me for my last words this time? I'm a lot closer to death than when I last saw you. As are you.
Why did you ask me here?
Why did you come?
I wanted to see if you'd improved with age. I'm glad to see the answer's no.
When you said rot in jail, you really meant it, huh? Look, I didn't ask you here to find out who's got the snappiest comebacks. I want to hire you.
What?
I require your services as a detective.
What's your game? Who do you take me for?
Look, Ness, My granddaughter Sophia has been kidnapped. When what happened to my
Bah non,
son, Vittorio,
voilà, ça a bugué. À
I,
la fin de la conversation, ça a
I put
bugué.
her in a boarding school.
Avec
She was entered under a false surname, Colombo. Nobody knows who she is.
Nobody?
Only Milton, the man who brought you here. I trust him completely. 2 days ago, a guy turned up at the boarding school. He introduced himself as Guido Colombo, the girl's uncle, and her new legal guardian. He said her parents had just died in a tragic automobile accident. He produced all the relevant papers, driver's license, the custody document supposedly made out by the father, the death certificates. He explained away the fact that the girl didn't know him by saying he moved to Seattle before she was born.
Ouais,
Any
pas mal comme
clues?
ça.
Nah. Well, Sophia was wearing a blue dress
That-
with flowers
that
that I
thing,
personally
that
ordered
thing.
for her from Italy. She was also wearing white ballet shoes with daisies embroidered on them. As for the guy, the school principal said he was tall and slim, in his 50s. No particular accent. Black hair, no beard, no glasses. Well dressed. Could be anyone. But I know he was hired by one of my old associates. Someone wants to finish me once and for all. Maybe they don't know what's left of my organization. Maybe they hate my guts.
And I thought I was the only one who still hated you after 20 years. What else have you got?
I got this. And I got you.
Ouais, mieux que Max Payne.
You don't have me. My place is at my diner. And your girl's not there.
Huh. So where should I be looking?
I'm not a cop anymore. Call the station.
The station? Are you serious? The cops are rotten to the core. I should know. I helped make them that way.
So why me?
20 years ago, I pushed you to the edge. I bought your friends and killed the ones who couldn't be bought. I got you so obsessed with me that your wife ended up leaving you. When you had nothing left, you walked into my house, shot my bodyguards, and pointed a gun at me. You could have killed me. But you chose to take it out on this piano. You're the only honest man I know.
I'll do it. Not for you. For her.
I knew I got the right guy.
But I want something in return.
As you can see, I'm not short of money. Ask. I won't haggle.
You leave Santa Esperanza and the country forever.
It's a deal. I always wanted to die in Sicily, but that's the least of my worries. I don't give a damn what happens to me, Ness. You just save Sophia. And you can start by investigating
Carlo Boccarini.
How did you know?
Biggest forger in Santa
Ça a
Esperanza.
bugué tout à
Wouldn't
l'heure.
surprise me if Sophia's so-called uncle's papers were made by him. Besides, he's been cursing your name ever since we put you in jail.
Hey, I treated him like a son.
After you killed his parents.
They were selling booze without my permission. Wait, you know where to find them?
I have a good contact at the station. A girl. Rookie. Straight arrow.
Ah, c'est là que ça a
Reliable.
bugué.
A girl? You saying you trust her?
You are such a chauvinist. Do you trust me?
Deal? That's a spirit. Keep Milton informed at all times, huh?
Retrouver la
You
fille.
hear me?
I know you from somewhere.
Hmm.
You're not gonna ask me for my last words?
You should be running. I'm never going to help you. Why me?
I'm not asking you to help me.
I'm not a cop anymore. I'll do it. Not for you. For her.
Bien.
jungle, where not even the rats are safe.
Bon, chapitre.
Those who swore to protect us fight to steal the last scraps of dignity we have left. And those who should judge them prefer to squabble over their prey. But it wasn't always like this. The Santa Esperone was a town. A place where it meant something to be a cop. Until he arrived.
Il y a One Key dessus.
Pas me déplacer, attends, je suis obligé de tirer de là. Putain!
He took everything I had, but in the end I sent him to hell.
Il est bizarre, hein?
Rebuilt my life. Got my feet back on the ground. But now he's back. And he's dragged me in. I'm gonna need help.
Ah bordel. Pas moyen d'être tranquille. Hein.
Ness,
Elliot, I found Carlo Boccarini.
I knew you would, Alice.
Write this down. 31 Wicker Avenue in Lakeview.
Thanks. Nice work.
Elliot, what do you want with him? He's got a hell of a file.
I think he's mixed up in a kidnapping, but my client doesn't want the police involved.
What are you getting yourself into? Who's your client?
Alice, I don't have much time. I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks. Tomorrow's going to be a long, long day.
Non. Tonton.
31 Wicker Avenue. This is it.
You sure?
I'm sure.
At last. That stench of stale grease about you reminds me too much of my old job.
You worked as a waiter?
I was a chef, and not in any old kitchen. At the maximum security penitentiary on Gore Island. Can't think of a better way to do time. And how do you think I met Alphonse? Playing golf?
Alphonse.
On the subject of cooking, I know your blueberry pie had an extra something. I still don't know what.
Alphonse.
So what now? You got a plan?
Take a look around, in case there's a rear exit. I'll take the main door.
My pleasure.
Non, il est pas. Ouais, c'est faire le gorge. Voilà.
Boccarini? Carlo Boccarini?
Nothing of interest out back. Sorry. You better come see this, Mr. Ness.
What is it?
I don't know how to describe it.
Ah, c'est une au moins. Ils ont fait des trucs de plein de Noël.
Non.
Is that our man?
Ouais.
Boccarini.
My God.
We have to find out who did this and why. Let's go.
Ferme pas les deux de tous
You're
les
the
côtés.
detective, Mr. Ness. Besides, Alfonso will want to see this. I'll be right back.
All right. I have to establish how Boccarini died. Maybe the body parts can shed some light on the motive.
Ouais. Attends. On va aller là.
The blood comes from the other side of the corridor and ends next to the body. He was attacked in the other room and dragged to the hall.
Putain, c'est un bain de sang.
The evidence suggests that the
Ils sont
events
rentrés par
began
la
in the
fenêtre.
lounge. How did Boccarini encounter his murderer?
Fort un peu.
Hmm.
Whatever crushed the table must have been really heavy, or maybe it was thrown extremely hard.
Bordel. Ah oui, c'est vrai que j'ai oublié là. qu'il y avait ça.
What kind of person takes off a
On
wristwatch
doit
without
faire pareil
unfastening
là-bas.
it? Or fastens the strap again after taking it off? Blood. Blood everywhere. Did it break during the struggle, or was it already broken?
Ah, mais tu peux te déplacer.
Ouais, ouais, c'est pour ça. Ouais.
Fingernails scratched the wood.
Ah, t'as un truc à droite. Marque dans le fond.
A perfectly circular dent, as if someone had tried to hammer in a gigantic bolt, around 4 inches in diameter.
N'importe quoi.
Blood ran like water.
Vu, c'est la montre. La montre.
Ouais,
This was opened recently. Smells of whiskey. Glass on the floor indicates the window was broken from outside. There's something under there. How'd it wind up under there? Not one round fired. It must have happened fast.
J'ai pas eu le temps de faire avec.
Une balle de ça aurait fait mal. Magnum.
Ouais.
What is it with Italians and olives? They lap those things up like caviar.
Les olives.
Like a true bachelor, he should have put these into soak. Hours of scraping to get them clean. Although at this stage, I don't think Boccarini's too worried about that. 4 glasses. 2 of water, 2 of wine. I've always been a whiskey man, but I know a good wine when I see one. Leftover lasagna, and it looks good. Why is it that 2 out of 3 Italian gangsters are great cooks? I never understand what the deal is with them in cooking. The plates and the glasses leave no room for doubt. Boccarini had company for dinner. One knife's missing, the biggest one. Shut from the inside.
C'est quoi en haut qui clignote? Tarot.
C'est le tableau de l'enquête.
Ouais.
On va retourner au niveau
Holy Christ, what the hell are we up against?
Ouais.
Ils ont levé les dames.
Ouais,
His eyes were pulled clean out of their sockets. Whoever did this, it wasn't their first time. They committed any other murders like this, it's likely that the police found some of the bodies. I must remember to ask Alice. His teeth were all pulled out before he was killed.
Ses dents étaient
The
arrachées.
buildup of blood inside his mouth speaks for
Ouais,
itself.
bah ouais, ils l'ont torturé.
This isn't a cut, it's a tear. His hands were ripped off. Who has that kind of strength?
On entend les mouches. Tout ça.
What's he got there? Looks like the bottom of a glass. Pity he won't last till Christmas, because he'd almost passed for a tree. There's no doubt the murderer took his time.
Ils ont trépané
Takes a strong man to tear that out. Or several.
les bastons.
opened shut from the inside. Maybe between the two of us when Milton gets back. If I'm not mistaken, this door opens onto the same room as the locked door in the kitchen. Blood and some kind of sticky liquid.
Ouais, bizarre.
Oh shit.
Waouh.
I should have stayed in my
Oh,
diner.
ils sont gourds. Ah d'accord. Je sais pas, il doit y avoir quelque chose dedans.
Are these teeth from the body?
Wow.
Well, at least I know why his teeth were pulled out, more or less.
Putain.
Détraqué, là.
What is that? Looks like a ritual. What was Boccherini mixed up in? This car looks too classy for a forger like Boccherini. Are there sufficient reasons to believe that when the murderer attacked Boccherini, there was someone else in the house? The first possibility to be ruled out is that the car belonged to Boccherini. Vermont plates. Someone drove a long way. Let's take a look in the glove compartment. Bingo. A man's cigarette. OB. One of the Boccherini clan?
T'aimes bien la bagnole.
Ouais. À l'époque, j'avais de belles bagnoles. J'avais rien à dire.
Rien à voir, c'est bien.
Tiennent 50 ans les bagnoles. Pas comme maintenant.
La bagnole, elle vaut les années 80.
Tout ce qu'il y a là, je crois.
Et il faut qu'elle demande au black qui vienne ouvrir la porte.
Vas-y.
Il faut sortir.
Peut-être oublié un truc.
Pas voir.
Dans le meuble, il n'y a rien.
Il arrange, non?
Non. J'ai oublié une porte. J'ai oublié un truc.
Sélectionne.
Voiture. Mutilation, j'ai oublié des trucs.
Boccarini's teeth were all pulled out. The murderer tore Boccarini's hands off. Hands ripped off, teeth torn out. I guess I'll have to rule out criminal intent or a personal angle. Boccarini's eyes still haven't shown up. What if I look for whatever was used to remove them? A teaspoon stained with blood and some kind of sticky liquid. The mixture of sticky liquid and blood can only mean one thing. The spoon was used to remove Boccarini's eyes. The mutilations and the disappearance of his eyes suggest two possible motives. Psychopathy or cultist fanaticism. Which is it? The trail of blood from the dining room to the hall. A sick altar of human flesh. The trail of blood from the dining room to the hall. The blood-stained wristwatch with a glass. Some kind of symbol drawn in blood. Although I don't know the origin of the symbol in the bathroom and the altar of flesh and teeth, I'd say the motive was some kind of occult religion. The big question is, who did it? The trail of blood from the dining room to the hall. A couple of Vermont plates. The NB on a cigarette case. 1. It has Vermont plates. 2. It's too luxurious for a criminal of his standing. 3. The initials on the cigarette case don't match his name. The next possibility that needs to be ruled out is that the car was stolen. There should be evidence that there was someone else in the house. Dirty plates, glasses, and silverware from a dinner for... The dirty dishes and glasses prove that Boccarini ate lasagna with one other person. Was Boccarini's guest still when the murderer showed up? A broken whiskey glass found in the dining room. A door in the corridor jammed shut. The lamp, torn off its brackets. A blood-stained wristwatch with a glass broke. The trail of blood from the dining room to the hall.
Merde.
What looks like the bottom of a broken glass buried in It seems clear that Boccarini and his guest were drinking when the murderer took them by surprise. The real question is, what happened to the witness? Did they escape? Did the murderer take them? Or are they still in the house? A door in the corridor jammed shut. It opens onto the same room as the locked door in the kitchen. A trail of blood from the dining room to the hall. A blood-stained wristwatch with a glass broken in the... A door in the kitchen, locked from the inside. One locked door could be a coincidence, but two locked doors which open onto the same room can't be. Either I'm completely wrong, or the witness is in that room. But I need Milton to open one of those doors. The trail of blood from the dining room to the hall. An open bottle of whiskey. Pieces of glass from the window in the hall, found inside the house. Two pools of blood, one on a pistol, fully loaded. I'd say Boccherini was drinking in the dining room when his assailant burst in through the window. Boccherini pulled his gun, but the murderer disarmed him before he could shoot. Where did the torture begin? 2 pools of blood, one on either side of the dining room table, the trail of blood from the dining room to the hall. A blood-stained wristwatch with the glass broken and the strap fastened. A broken table, scratched and covered in the bloodstains, show that the murderer began to torture Boccherini on the dining table itself. That was where his hands were torn off. As a result, his wristwatch fell to the ground. How did the body reach its current position? The lamp, torn off its brackets and blocked the trail of blood from the dining room to the hall. Boccherini, already minus hands, was dragged into the hall, where the murderer used the brackets of the lamp to complete his macabre diorama.
Mr. Ness, can you open the door for me?
C'est l'autre con.
It was open. Why did you ring?
I thought I should use the doorbell so I wouldn't startle you.
I didn't notice there was a doorbell.
Says the man Milton had left in charge of an important investigation. So, what can you tell me to restore my faith in you as a detective?
What is that?
Not a good start. It's a camera, so Alphonse can see all this.
All right. Follow me. Boccherini had company for dinner. Someone from Vermont with the initials OB. Someone whose social status was a lot higher, but who was on the same side of the law. He served lasagna, and after clearing away the dishes, they opened a bottle of whiskey in the dining room. That was when the murderer burst in on them, coming through the window, which he broke with his own body weight. Boccherini, or maybe his guest, pulled a gun, but it was a waste of time. The murderer was so fast, he was disarmed before he could fire. He focused his attention on Boccherini, totally ignoring the guest, and lifted him up into the air. He then threw him against the dining room table so hard that one of the glasses of whiskey was embedded in Boccherini's back. He span around, clawing at the table, and immediately afterwards the murderer ripped off his hands. I have no idea how he did it, but all the evidence suggests he just pulled. Blood sprayed everywhere. The wristwatch fell to the ground. He dragged him through the corridor into the hall. He tore down the lamp, hung him from the brackets, and stabbed steel rods through his body. He skewered him on the iron bars, possibly taken from the fence outside, and pulled out his teeth one by one. Finally, he scooped out his eyes with a teaspoon. Boccherini must have been dead when the murderer went to the bathroom with his hands in his teeth. There, he arranged them to make an altar, weaving the fingers together and placing the teeth inside. Next, he painted something on the wall in blood, a symbol which I don't recognize, but which could have some kind of ritualistic significance. When he'd finished his artwork, he left. I don't know what he did with the eyes.
You're telling me that someone did all this armed with a teaspoon?
More or less.
And you worked all this out on your own, just by looking?
More or less.
I don't know which of the two of you scares me more. Wait a second. What about the guest?
Right. Come with me. Nothing.
Turns out Mr. Untouchable isn't infallible. But you were close. Congratulations.
This must be Boccherini's office. Let's take a quick look around.
All yours.
Non, c'est sérieux.
Wow.
Jesus. There's at least $1 million here.
Millions au moins.
Mm-hmm. Boccarini's?
I'd be surprised. Probably his guests, and I doubt
Yeah,
it was
we've
to
got
pay
rid of
Boccarini
him.
for his services. None of his forgeries are worth that much.
Ils vont lutter, hein.
Non.
So, moi, c'était pas 50 millions l'heure, il a fait, hein.
Carlo, I have the goods for OB, but I have to take the children to school tomorrow and I can't make the meetup. Friday, same time, same place. It's signed NI.
Mm-hmm. These initials are getting to be a pain in the... Right?
I have to take the kids to school tomorrow. I don't think this is some loving divorced daddy, Milton.
I take back what I just said.
The driver's license of one John Martinson and Osmond Burke. OB.
Do we know him?
The eldest son of the richest family in Vermont, convicted rapist. He was arrested thanks to the testimony of his father, who wound up disinheriting him. He escaped from prison last week. He broke into the family home and slit the throats of all his relatives one by one, opened the safe, and got away with a fortune.
They don't make jails like they used to. All starting to add up, isn't it? Out of my way! Out! Out!
What? Il était dans le placard. Hein.
Milton! Milton!
You're doing fine on your own, Mr. Ness. I believe in you.
God! Get out!
Les gifles. Oh, la tête qu'il a.
Get out of my way, I said! He's coming back!
Who's coming back?
Him! The monster!
The guy who killed Boccarini?
He was a monster! Oh, get your hands off me, Negro!
What was he like? Describe him for me.
Ouais.
It was a monster.
À l'époque, il
Red
était
and black. I
raciste.
mean,
Hein.
his head reached the ceiling. He tore off his hands with his claws. It was a monster! A monster!
Should I hit him again?
You're Osmond Burke, right?
Yes.
Good. Now pay attention, Burke, because I have a question for you. Who is this money for?
Nikolai Ivankov.
Rings a bell.
One of Capone's right-hand men 20 years ago. What does this stuff about kids mean?
I don't know.
Calm down, Burke. You were going to meet up with him, right?
Yes, at the docks, berth 42, right next to where the Alligator 3 is moored.
So what's the meetup time?
Tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? No. It's going to be tonight. Don't get too comfortable. We'll be there in no time. The cops in Santa Esperanza aren't as straight as the cops in Vermont. Even so, I think they'll be delighted to see you at the station.
I'm afraid not, Mr. Ness. I have to take him to Alphonse.
Out of the question. I know his temper. He'll beat him to a pulp.
Listen, if the missing girl was your granddaughter, you wouldn't forgive me if I didn't let you see the only suspect who could lead us to her.
Okay.
Shucks.
What?
I thought that bloodbath would cover up the smell of stale. I was wrong.
Ok.
Elliot?
Ah, Delphine.
Oh, thank God you're here. The lights were off, so I thought that... I'm sorry. I got out of the hospital late, then I went to the station to pick up Jim's check, and when they told me... I'm scared.
Of what?
What are you drinking?
A drop of whiskey. Just a drop.
Breathe on me. You heard me. Of all the times you could have picked, did it have to be now?
What?
No! You knew!
Bon, bah les
You about
galinettes
what?
les gars, hein.
What's that
On va
gun
se
doing
laisser
there?
là-dessus. Je vais vous dire tous, bye bye, à la prochaine sur ma chaîne.